Hi, my name is Elizabeth McPherson, and today we're going to discuss transitioning to post-secondary education as a special education student. So oftentimes for special education students, they may go into a vocational or independent living setting, but for several students in special education, post-secondary options are available. So it's important for teachers and students to understand what the opportunities are to attend further education after high school. Firstly, it's important to understand that this transition is a part of a student's IEPs. So once a student hits a specific age and begins to consider the options post-high school, they will start creating what's called a transition plan. And this transition plan will include post-secondary goals that are related to education and employment. So the student will be able to have a voice in whether or not that they would like to do further education, potentially obtain specific employment. The transition plan will also include what services are needed to reach those goals. So what will the student need while they continue through their high school journey to be able to graduate and obtain the goals that are listed on the transition plan. And at times there are age-appropriate transition assessments. So there's a variety of different assessments that could be used to attain whatever goals the student is working on in their transition plan. Another really important piece of this is that it properly documents the disability. Heading into post-secondary education, special education students will want to make sure that they have all the proper documentation, not only from either medical or psychological testing, but from school testing as well. So we know that post-secondary education almost always requires a high school diploma. And so students in special education often have two different kinds of diplomas. I'm actually going to start on the bottom here. This alternative diploma often comes for students with a significant cognitive delay. It typically requires an alternative academic path. Standards might have been lowered. For a lot of states, this means the credit level for graduation is lowered, so maybe 18 credits instead of 24 or 26, whatever your specific state might require. And oftentimes students graduating on an alternative diploma are not necessarily seeking post-secondary education options. It's just not a rigorous enough program to potentially allow for admission into these programs. The regular high school diploma, however, is fully aligned with state standards. It's your traditional high school diploma that is awarded at graduation, and many special education students do have access to this high quality level coursework. Just because you're in special education does not require you to take the alternative diploma route. So students making sure that they understand the type of diploma that they will receive, and that can affect their post-secondary education options in terms of where they can and cannot apply. So really ensuring students are on that regular diploma track. So there's a lot of things we can do to prepare students within high school for post-secondary options. So if we have a student and in their transition plan, they are indicating to us that they want to choose post-secondary education after high school, we need to encourage them to take classes that are of interest. When they're picking electives or doing things with their high school credits, it needs to be really pursuing some of those post-secondary ideas and goals so they have a feel for what they want to do. Encourage them to get involved in the community. A lot of scholarship opportunities, a lot of applications will ask for this community involvement, and it can really help the application process in the post-secondary world. Have them meet with the school guidance counselor, really figure out what it looks like to go to a post-secondary education opportunity, what's going to be required of them. Make sure that they're engaging in their IEP meeting. They need to know about their own disability and their own modifications. Encourage them to reach out to the university or college or whatever trade school that they want to attend and talk to them about their options. Make sure that they're looking into the testing requirements, SATs, ACTs, whatever kind of entrance exam might be required for where they want to attend. And then make sure that they're visiting, looking at several different styles and options of post-secondary education, and being their own best advocate for what settings might work the best for their learning profile. It's also important that students who are pursuing post-secondary education understand about the application and financial aid process. They have to apply. It's not guaranteed that they can go. That might be new for some students to hear, and they have to pay for it somehow. And so encourage them to use online resources. You know, our government has a lot of resources in terms of student financial aid, different university options. Make sure that they're contacting the college or university admissions office. They can walk them through the steps of application and financial aid. Show them how to apply for grants and scholarships. They're especially for students with disabilities. There are several opportunities to have college supported through grants and scholarships. And then make sure that someone's able to show them how federal student aid works. Give them all their options for pursuing post-secondary education. So thinking about being a student with potentially a disability, a learning disability, or an IEP, chances are, if the student is pursuing post-secondary education, they have probably a high ability of independence and self-functioning. But we need to encourage students to make sure they're researching and asking questions about what it looks like to go to school after high school. They need to understand that they're not entitled to the exact same services and support that they were getting in their high school setting. This idea of FAPE, IDA, Section 504, if they're graduating with a regular diploma, it's not going to work the same way when they get to a university. So Section 505 in Title II requires post-secondary educational institutes to provide accommodations, but they are not required to alter the academic program. So students need to understand that while they will get help, the rigor and the academic piece will not be lessened because of their disability. And ultimately, if it's a physical issue, ADA does require that all buildings are physically accessible, so students should not have to worry about that. It's really important that students, again, utilize that financial aid, seek the guidance from their school counselors, apply and understand for those FAFSA grants, and just really understand all the options. This will set them up well for post-secondary opportunities. So here is a list of the references that I used. It's really important that we encourage our students in special education to pursue exactly their passions and their dreams, and to do that through the use of post-secondary education if that's right for them.